Happy Independence Day, my ladies. Welcome to a very special podcast episode. Today is July 4th, and it is 6:30 in the morning, and I have a message on my heart that has been on my heart for the last few days, and I had to share it with you today. And get ready because it is bold, and it is impassioned, and it is exactly how I feel. And this came about because my sister went and saw a movie that's out, and I think today's the last day that you can see it. So if you are listening to this live, go see it. It's from Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe produced a movie, and he's sharing all of these amazing stories from throughout history. And it's called Something to Stand For. And as my sister shared some of the stories that were in this film, I started to just feel overwhelmed by the desire that I have to be part of something bigger than myself. And that has been a strong desire for me for as long as I can remember. When I was 6, 7, 8 years old, I wanted to be in the military. I wanted to be a firefighter. I wanted to be a police officer. When I was in college, I joined Army ROTC and did that for several years in college. I wanted to be part of something greater. And part of me always felt a little bit guilty that I didn't feel this fervor for my religion in particular. I was like, I should feel this way about my religion. I should have this same fervor. Do I have that fervor for Jesus? 100%. Yes. And I have developed that even more as an adult. But I have still felt this calling to something bigger. And I have been praying over the last week to really be led by God with a message. And I think this is part of it. This is at least what's on my heart right now. And as I've been reflecting on July 4th, today is Independence Day. I always call it Independence Day. I very rarely call it the 4th of July because that's what it is that we're celebrating. We're celebrating independence. Ladies, do you realize how big that is? Even if you don't live in America, you have freedom. And what that looks like to me, and the reason why I am so passionate about what I do and the women that I teach, the tools that I teach, the reason that I am trying so hard to get my message out there is because the tools that you learn here, the things that I can teach you, offer you more freedom. Here's what I know is that Satan hates freedom. Satan wants you to be his, and he will use every tactic and device that he can to do so. And one of the biggest tools that he's using right now is victimization. He is using the lies that you don't have something that you can conquer, be that a diagnosis or a situation or a circumstance outside of your control. The Satan wants you to believe that you are a victim, that there's nothing you can do. Because when you think there's nothing you can do, you don't fight back. And every woman, ladies, I want you to hear me as I say this. Every woman who heals from her husband's pornography addiction adds one more soldier to the fight. You want to know why it's so hard to take the leap and actually start working on your own personal healing and progression? It's because Satan doesn't want you to. He is actively trying to convince you that you can't do it, you shouldn't do it, it's irresponsible to do it. Maybe it's the time, maybe it's the money, maybe it's the resources, maybe it's that you're too scared to even take the chance. That is Satan working against you, whether that's from society or just thoughts that you've picked up, trying to convince you that it's not going to make a difference. And ladies, I'm here to tell you that he's wrong. That is why it's so hard to do this, because this isn't just a fight between you and your worst thoughts. This is something greater. I want you guys to imagine, as I thought about this message, I pictured in my mind like a big battlefield. And in my mind, it was very like third world, okay? We're using like body armor and swords in my head, okay? Maybe yours is more modern, but imagine a battlefield. And you are struck down, and we're fighting against pornography, which is really just a tool of Satan, quite frankly. But we're battling against pornography. That is the enemy. And you have been struck down. The reason that they don't want you to heal, the reason that Satan works so hard against you is because he knows that every woman who heals from this is like you getting back up. It's like battling pornography and you've been cut down. And it feels like it. I know, ladies, I have been there. It feels literally at times like you have been cut down. But healing yourself is like rising back up and re-entering the battle stronger, more resilient, more confident, and perfectly equipped to face it. Because when you heal yourself, it has a ripple effect, ladies. It changes you. It changes the way you stand, the way you speak, the way you think, the way you feel, and the way that you interact with the world. And that starts with those closest to you: your husband, your children, your best friend. And then it starts to spread to the acquaintance from your church, to that forgotten follower on Facebook, to the coworkers that you learn to engage with now that you're not so stressed out and emotionally overwhelmed, to the women that you help from the business that you were too scared and too emotionally overwhelmed to begin, to the classmates that you meet now that you feel comfortable and confident enough to go back to school. It creates a ripple effect. Ladies, if you're looking for something to stand for, this is it. Okay? If you want to fight against pornography and the degradation of morals in our society, then the best way to begin is to stand up for yourself and to say, I'm not quitting and I'm not going down without a fight. And then you fight. And you fight by taking back yourself, by healing yourself. And when you do, it resurrects a fallen warrior and it brings you back stronger. Ladies, this isn't just about you and me feeling not good enough. This is a battle of good and evil, a battle between freedom and the captivity of victimization. And we need more soldiers. Soldiers who are willing to stand against pornography and refuse to let it win. Every day you continue to live with the wounds of how pornography has hurt you. Every day you live with the scars and you call yourself a victim is the day that the enemy grows stronger. You are not a victim. And the moment that you realize that and start acting like it is the moment that everything changes. It's the moment that your future changes because you begin to transform from victim to victor. But that can only happen when you make that internal commitment to leave the past behind and then rise up. Healing yourself and becoming that elite warrior that you now have the capacity to become. Because after all, ladies, who knows the enemy's tactics better than you, right? Who knows the enemy's power and effects better than you? I promise you that if you heal from this, nobody will know how to beat it better than you. Right? After all, what makes somebody most equipped to handle confrontation is someone who's done it before, someone who has had a battle against that enemy before. They know their weaknesses. Ladies, you know their weaknesses. And their weakness is that they think that once they have somebody, they're down for the count, and that is a lie. It's time to rise up, ladies. No more licking your wounds. It is time to heal, to go forward, to armor yourself with the tools that you need to stand against any onslaught that the enemy brings. And if this sounds like a melodramatic battle cry, then so be it. I will fight this battle alone if need be. But the enemy isn't going anywhere. And I don't know about you, but I, for one, am tired of seeing it take women down. It's time to step up, to step out and to fight. It's time to rise up, ladies. Let's go and let freedom ring.